All right, y'all ready to see some pictures? I've got a little bit of video as well. I might have to put the volume down because there's definitely some music that would get me DMCA'd in it. But I know there's only a couple, so we'll just start from the top, and we're going high in the sky here. Let's talk about like the airport experience right now, because out here in Toronto, the Pearson International Airport is kind of a gong show. We're running into issues of the pandemic is on the downswing, and people are traveling like crazy, and there's also a shortage of staff in all of the different departments that are required to run an airport. So the backlog of people trying to get to places and flights being canceled, it's kind of nuts. Also, we were supposed to leave on the Saturday, and Saturday morning, 6:30 a.m., our flight got canceled, just straight up canceled, because there was a giant tropical storm in Florida. And my mom stayed up to rebook our flight, and we ended up leaving on the Sunday, 6:30 a.m. And I'm kind of dreading it because Steph and I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. We had all our stuff packed, and we got to the airport at like 3:30. And the process of checking in was slow. The machines there, it's an automated thing, at least on the Canadian side on Air Canada, where it's just like a conveyor belt, and then you put your thing on and a whole bunch of lasers scan your luggage, and then it just goes. But the machines were off, and we stood around for about half an hour for someone just to hit the red button to turn the thing on. And then like, okay, fine, let's go and scan our luggage in. And there was a sign at the front that had said like, hey, if you've got a flight between 6 and 9, go wait in aisle 15. And so we waited in aisle 15, and we waited for half an hour, 45 minutes. And like, as it turns out, we actually didn't have to wait there at all. We could have just gone to the gate and gone through security and everything. But no, we just sat around waiting for no reason whatsoever. Kind of misleading that they had the sign there. I don't know what was going on. It was kind of confusing. Did get through security okay. It was actually kind of a scramble getting out, because the way it timed out, we had like just a little bit of time to get coffee, and the Starbucks line was incredibly long. Ran into my aunt and uncle from Houston, who had come to Canada for the weekend to celebrate my uncle's birthday, and they were on their way back to Houston, and we saw them at the Starbucks. That was kind of cool. Hi Tito Cherry, hi Tito Edwin. Then we got on the plane, and I was like, I'm gonna go sleep on the plane. It's gonna be great. And I kind of did, kind of didn't. I was just like in a weird state of sleepy / not sleepy. I don't know. Is anyone here like good at sleeping on the plane? I'm generally not. I have a hard time just like being out for long periods of time on the plane, whether it's turbulence or just it being asleep in the middle of the day doesn't really work out. Space Cactus says, if you sleep on a plane, you are on another level. I try, and like I can only nap for an hour or so, usually, and it didn't help that I'd kind of slept a bit. I thought I'd be more tired than I was, and I kind of wasn't. And so the other mess up on the plane was like, all right, I've got my phone. I'm going to listen to some music. I don't want to burn my podcast material or anything like that, because I'm just going to fall asleep to this anyway. And as they start doing the announcements and the safety thing, I'm like, all right, let's get the Spotify going. And I look at my Spotify. I have no music downloaded on my phone. I had forgotten that a while back, in order to create space on my phone, I just deleted all of my music, because I said I don't listen to music on the go anymore, because I'm not really on the go and I can just stream it on the Wi-Fi. Why do I need music on my phone? So I had no music. That was great. Oh, geez, wrong button. Wrong button. There it is. You made sure to download extra music? Yeah. It was bad. And so I kind of just slept through some podcasts that I downloaded and rewinded where I could. Shout outs to the Raptor Show with Will Liu. Shout outs to Event Hub's fighting game podcast. And I listened to those a little bit while drifting in and out of sleep. And you'd consider paying for Wi-Fi? Oh, I'm not paying for anything on the plane. Of course, they have the thing. You can buy the sandwiches and stuff. I've never bought anything on the plane. One thing, though, an essential for me, and I guess this works to varying degrees, an essential for me, gum. I don't chew gum. I used to chew gum religiously at work, and I stopped doing that. But I have gum with me on the plane because I have issues with air pressure when the plane comes down. This has happened to me every single time I've hopped on a plane, where my ears hurt like crazy on the way down, and I cannot hear properly for days after landing. I don't know what it is about me and the air pressure on a landing plane, but it messes me up really bad. And I find that chewing gum on the way down kind of makes it not hurt as bad for as long. Space Cactus says, excuse me, where is the Thrills gum? Oh, I mean, now that you mention it, yeah, you ask and you shall receive. It's right here. I'm sorry I forgot the last time we hung out. I forgot to bring it. I will not forget on the next one. So I have not chewed a single piece from that pack. So I'm saving it for the next time we hang out. And no, I didn't bring any Thrills gum with me on the airplane. All right, so now we're landing in Florida. I don't know if there's... Okay, so let's step ahead. So now we're landing in Florida, and I have my thoughts and feelings. I knew the weather was going to be great, and I had some... I think the two things that I was keeping tabs on is, one, what does mask usage look like in Florida? And two, how much of how much fandom will we see for a certain US president in that particular side of the aisle, that type of stuff, right? This is masked or not masked. Okay, we'll get to that. And good evening, Calface. How you doing? All right, so we land at Fort Lauderdale Airport, and so this is actually an interesting tidbit. At the airport in Canada, it's one of the few places where masks are still mandatory. Almost everybody had a mask. If you didn't, on the flight back, if you didn't have a mask, they gave you one. So getting off the plane in Florida, and we walk through the tunnel. Basically no one is wearing a mask. It wasn't completely devoid of masks. And this is actually something that I was a little concerned about. Like, I thought nobody wore masks in Florida. This is not true. There are some people who wear masks in Florida. Actually, something interesting. In particular, and like, I don't know if this is racial. There definitely certain groups that wore masks more than others. I don't know how to specify that particular thing, but you know what? Power to them. I definitely, you can say, I'm not going to say that, Space Cactus. How about the opposite of that? Were the people I mostly saw wear masks, which is kind of interesting. However, I did see people with skin lighter than me that wore masks, and I saw people with skin that looks more like me also wearing masks. Definitely in the minority, though. That being said, okay, as someone last week, or the week before then, right? Mask requirements and stuff have been loosening up in my neck of the woods here in Toronto. And I will say, Florida is not that much different from what it looks like in Toronto now. Like, people out here pretty much aren't wearing masks anymore either. Did I wear a mask? A little bit, but for the most part, no. And it was I definitely had my concerns. Like, sure, I'm concerned about COVID. I've had it. It sucks. I was more concerned with being an Asian presenting person in that particular part of the world, wearing a mask and having to answer to why I was doing that thing. So I ended up taking it off for the most part. There were one or two instances where I did wear it, mostly when like my throat got dry and I was coughing. Like, okay, I'm gonna put this up so people don't get weirded out by it. My parents hung out a little longer, right? It was after the first day. Yeah, I don't want to trick me. Exactly, Space. Like, I was concerned about like the incident we had at the restaurant, but just happening all the time everywhere we went, and I didn't want it more than I didn't want COVID again. Ian says, the mask situation here is pretty bad. At most events, there are literally like 100 people and you're the only masked person. And that is very much what Florida is like. And as much as I want to hold my city and my part of the world to a higher standard, that's pretty much where we're at now. It just took us a bit slower to get to that point, but hardly anyone's wearing masks here anymore. I will continue to wear my mask wherever I feel comfortable doing it, which is most of the time, except in Florida where I just didn't want to be harassed by jerks. So getting off the plane, hardly a mask in sight. However, I did see, it didn't take long, like moments after getting out of the tunnel, seeing someone who had skin darker than me wearing a Let's Go Brandon shirt. And I was like, wait. What? You really? And yeah, I didn't ask the guy why he felt the way he did, and not to say that the current regime is amazing. I think there are a lot of grievances that one on either side of the aisle can have with the current prez. However, the siding with, going to the point with the dog whistle of Let's Go Brandon just felt like, nah, that's not the move, man. Especially when this movement ain't really for people that look, So like, okay, fine. And Ian says politics are wild. Yeah, I noticed. I saw. I think something fascinating to me as I drove around and we got to our hotel. Like, everywhere we went, there's just a billion American flags everywhere, and not just and I definitely saw thin blue line flags and one dry cleaner that had their own custom flag that said, "Thank you, Governor DeSantis," and stuff like that, but just like American flags everywhere you go. And I wonder if Americans that come up north are like, man, y'all put the maple leaf on everything. But no, it's just like everywhere you go, like 80,000 American flags. Like, okay. And even all right, so we're off the plane. I still haven't even shown any pictures of the place we went to. Shout outs to my mom's boss who set this whole trip up. He bought the tickets and then let us stay at his house, like one of his houses in Pompano Beach, Florida, which is just south of it's in the Fort Lauderdale area. Is it Boca Raton? Just south of there and about an hour north of Miami. And we were staying at a house that was like a very short trip to the beach. So we had access to this beach like every day if we wanted to. We didn't. Yeah, shout outs to Mom's Boss. So the beach was close by, and we definitely spent a fair amount of time on the beach. It's absolutely gorgeous, wet water, nice and clear. It's very salty. If you've ever, I don't know if you've ever swam in an ocean before. Man, what a flex. Yeah, for those who haven't swam in the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean is very salty. Just get hit in the face and you're just like, oh man, my throat's burning from all the salt in the water. It's crazy. But no, it was good. We swam like, I think couple times. First day, we were just getting settled in, so on this particular trip we just kind of like walked the beach. We got our feet wet a little bit. Here's a view of the other way with the sand. Sand was nice and clean. And then here I am, first sighting of the Florida man on the beach. Oh gosh, hold on, wait. We're gonna zoom that in just a little bit so you don't get the shot of my feet. I should have zoomed that in. Copper Key, hello, welcome back. Tears of Orange Man supporters, yep. And yeah, definitely do not drink the water. And Copper Key brings up an interesting point about the fish. So Feeder Riot, hey Meg, welcome back. Oh man, you're gonna have to clip. I hope you clip that because it's gone now. The first day we went swimming, there were fish in the like in the shallow area. Within minutes, Steph and I both got hit by fish, and they're like fish like literally jumping across in the water as you're swimming, which is kind of cool, also kind of alarming. Towards the end of that first day, there was a couple like 15 feet away from us, and a woman starts screaming and she starts cursing because she got hit in the face by a fish. Like a fish jumped out of the water and smacked her in the face. I don't know. That's I felt uncomfortable enough as is with the fish just kind of touching my leg here and there, grazing my leg, but I don't know what I would have done getting hit in the face by a fish. Was not expecting that, but yeah, it was okay. It was still a nice beach. For clarity, these were non-dangerous fish. Yeah, just jerks. They were little fish as far as I know. We were told by our boat tour guy that sometimes the sharks do go up to shore. He told us a crazy story about some sort of like experience you can pay for where you actually get to see the sharks from below and watch them eat above you. We'll get to that in a sec. We didn't do anything quite that crazy, though. What else happened here? Let me go and click. Oh, why isn't it? Oh, I have to zoom out so I can use... Okay. Don't screenshot this. Oh, come on. There it is. Okay. All right. We're fine. We're fine. Yeah, so off to the side, there was that pier, and you can walk all the way to the end of the pier. And one thing I guess I wasn't expecting that it's actually a fishing spot. I usually imagine sort of beaches where people swim, that because of the people, there aren't really fish to catch. But along the dock, they have areas where you can fish. There's even like a hole at the end of the dock where people are just fishing under the dock, and there's tables set up where you can cut your bait. And that was kind of cool. We actually saw someone catch a fish. It was like an average, like that big. I know you can't tell how big my face is. It's about the size of my face. Kind of cool. Here's a shot of the beach from the pier. I believe, if the stat I saw, remember, it's 27 miles of beach going along this particular stretch. It was very nice, gorgeous day. And here is me up close with a pelican. So one of the things about the pier is that there's lots of fish. People are catching the fish, and then the pelicans are like, hey, give me my lunch. And they just kind of wander around the pier, not really scared of the people at all. Didn't see a pelican eat any fish here, but we did see a fish get eaten by a bird, but that is later on in this particular story. This is one of the meals I had. Okay, so that first night we went to dinner at, oh geez, I cannot remember the name of the restaurant, but a couple of things that we saw. There was a lot of seafood on the menu at every restaurant we went to, which should be, it makes sense. We're in Florida and there's easy access to fresh fish. Something I noticed a lot on the menus though was short rib. Like I rarely ever see short rib on a menu at restaurants here in Canada, and it was everywhere. And I ended up having short rib a whole bunch of times. This one was pretty good. This was in the middle. If we were ranking the short ribs I had, this was in the middle. But this potato thing, it's kind of like a hash brown, like it's shredded potatoes, but then made like scallop potatoes with this crusty bit at the top. Chef's kiss. Absolutely amazing. This might have been the best thing. Up there as one of the best things I ate the entire trip. Moving on, we spent a lot of time in the grocery store. This is at Publix, and we ended up here either just buying... Hey, thank you, JF Raptor, for renewing your sub 20 months. Much appreciated. I hope you're doing well. We ended up at Publix a lot. For refreshing on drinks, we bought a lot of Gatorade, bought an assortment of snacks. At the end of this, I took pictures of a bunch of snacks that we tried, and I will provide my feedback on them. Steph and I tried to focus on snacks that we don't have in Canada, but I had to take a picture of this. I've never seen such a product in my life. This idea of stopping your sub from getting soggy by putting it in this container, and then they have different sized lids so it compensates for whether you've got the 6-inch sub or the 12-inch sub. And on one hand, like, great. On the other hand, like, are y'all in America really out here just packing a whole submarine for lunch? Serious question. I have no idea. Is this so? I mean, it is seen on Shark Tank for whatever that's worth. But are y'all really consuming subs that often that this can be a product sold at major grocery stores across the country? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Back to the beach. Again, dates. This is the time we actually went swimming. Beach looking. This actually looks like a painting. This picture's kind of messing me up right now looking at it. It looks really cool. It was a painting. There is a... So you can take it to the beach. You're right. You're right, Cowface. Man, the easiest money at the beach. There is a company, and it's usually just ran by one dude, and they give you access to... You can rent beach chairs, day beds, umbrellas for the day, and it's just for a fee. And we probably paid too much because on the times we went, we ended up getting 2 umbrellas each time at like $20 a pop. And I know that's a lot, and it's like, yeah, just buy your own umbrella. But like, I'm only in the country for a week. What am I can't bring this umbrella back. Like, sure, I'll just rent the umbrella so I don't roast in the sun. And they ended up being great investments because we ended up spending more time at the beach than we otherwise would have. Otherwise, it would have just been, as soon as we get out of the water, we would have roasted. So yeah, we got to hang out for an extra couple of hours. I read on one of the times at the beach. I read book 7 of Saga. I'm almost caught up at this point. That was very good. And then the second time I was listening to a Raptors podcast. But definitely enjoyed my time swimming on the beach. Here we go. We went to have lunch at this restaurant called Houston's. I did not have the short rib here. I had it was like an au juice sandwich. It was very good. But something we saw a lot, because this area of Pompano Beach is right on the water. We saw yachts, like lots of yachts, and this is one of the biggest ones that we saw parked out here. Like, this is bigger than my house. So there are a lot of people who are very rich in this part of Florida, and some of the extravagance was absolutely insane, particularly with the boat game, where the cheapest boats are hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we saw many multi-million-dollar boats and learned a bunch from on our boat trip later from the guy who, yeah, my boss, someone who works for at my mom's company who does maintenance on the houses that he owns in the Florida area and also drives boats, and was just pointing out like, oh yeah, this boat's like $5 million. This one's $8 million. I can't imagine. This is easily like north of 10 mil. Absolutely nuts. The level of money that people have out here. Back to the grocery store. I don't know if anyone can confirm this from north of the border. Do we have Lucky Charms marshmallows? Steph and I didn't end up buying these, but this is a genius idea. How come we don't have these here yet if we don't? And if we do, I think we need to pick up a bag. Yeah, so JF Raptor, you've never seen these before. Also love the idea as fat-free. Yeah, just give me the marshmallow. Imagine just putting these into a bowl and pouring some milk on there. Oh, and these aren't just the marshmallows that are from the cereal. These are big marshmallows. I mean, they're smaller than your standard size marshmallow, but a lot bigger. Like, these would serve as alternates to regular marshmallows. Absolutely crazy. Later on, we went to Target, and okay, so I need to set this up a little bit because Americans are probably like, why do you want to go to Target? And I'd say that Canada doesn't have Target. We used to have Target, and Target here was terrible. There's an amazing article on, let me see if I can find the site. There's like an amazing expose that I remember reading, and it doesn't show up on the front page here. Target is one of the biggest failures in Canadian business history. They lost north of, I think it was over $20 billion trying to set up in Canada and failing. And they bought a whole bunch of stores. They set it all up. The deals were not good. They were always out of stock. And yeah, those were the two big ones. They were always out of stock. And yeah, like nobody shopped there. And then people just left. And so it's always a big deal when we get to go to Target and we can actually shop at the good Target. And we bought lots of stuff at the Target, including this sleepy boy right here. Why don't we want to go to Target? Didn't actually carry unique stuff. That was expected. Why don't we want... They did not. Yeah, none of the unique stuff, all the cool stuff that the States got in Target, we didn't get here in Canada. It was awful. But Target in the States had this sleepy boy here, which ended up being kind of a pain to bring back because it took up half my luggage, and I ended up having to squeeze like everything super in. But we had to bring him home. Look at this sleepy Pikachu. How could I say no to this? How could I say no? How could I say no to the sleepy boy? So we definitely brought him home. I also got some shirts. I got some nerdy dorky shirts because I'm a dork. Sleepy boy acquired. Yep. Thank you, Jared. I got some shirts from Target. I don't know how much of a dork it makes me that I bought a Wu-Tang shirt while I was at Target, but they had it there. I love the Wu-Tang Clan, and they've got a new song in the Ninja Turtles game. I don't know if y'all saw my Twitter, and I retweeted it. But yeah, Wu-Tang, Ghostface, Raekwon have a song in the new Ninja Turtles game, and it slaps. Maybe this is my Florida man showing. I personally have a soft spot in my heart for this restaurant, and I had to get the shirt when I saw it, because when else, where in this country Oh, in the States, it's probably everywhere. But in Canada, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get a Taco Bell shirt anywhere. So yeah, I saw this and was like, yes, I have to have the Taco Bell shirt. I personally, I am such a sucker for Taco Bell. I love it so much. And I enjoy the food. It was my introduction to Mexican food, but I also kind of have a soft spot in my heart because like when we were growing up and there were times where we'd order fast food and then my dad would go to Taco Bell and everyone else would order other stuff. And I was like, oh, let's try Taco Bell with my dad. And then I ended up enjoying it. And then for a time, that was kind of like our bonding thing, is that we would eat Taco Bell together. And so I kind of still have that warm, fuzzy, nostalgic sensation of eating Taco Bell with my dad when I eat Taco Bell. And it's kind of cool to have the shirt. Aside from the employees, you've never seen a Taco Bell shirt? Yeah. When else are you ever going to see Taco Bell swag? Maybe playing it a little safer here. We've got some Nintendo shirts. I got this Mario Kart 1, which is pretty sweet. Of course, since 1992. And one more. We spent a grip at Target. This was okay. Actually, we'll get to that. The broader thing about shopping in Florida in a sec. Last shirt, got this sweet Nintendo 64 shirt. Gotta represent for one of the weirder, cool eras in Nintendo history. All right, so shopping in Florida. Like, can Americans tell when Canadians come in? Come into Target? Yeah, probably. Well, we just spent like a whole bunch of money on ridiculous stuff. My mom did buy a luggage to carry a whole bunch of things on the way back that she had bought. One other thing I bought in Target. So, Americans might not know this, but your Target has an amazing board game section. You've got one of the biggest things is that there are games that are exclusive to Target, and not just like Target in the US, but like literally in the world. I have been looking for this game for over a year. This is Trails, which is a card game version of one of my favorite board games, Parks. No one in Canada sells it. No one. And I finally saw it Steph saw it on the shelf and I was like, nope, we're done. We're taking this. And I'm really glad to have this. And they have other exclusive board games. I sent Lindsay a picture of one while I was on the trip. The Love is Blind board game, another Target exclusive. I ended up I didn't end up seeing it again after that one time, and it was the one copy that was open, so I didn't pick it up. So we'll have to figure out a way to get the Love is Blind board game out here. But Trails, it's a really cool game where you are hiking across the US and you're taking pictures and sightseeing along the way. And it's a really fun game. I did get a faulty copy of the game though. You're supposed to get red, green, and gray squares, and they gave us 2 packs of red instead of 1 red and 1 green. So we're gonna have to paint some of the red ones ourselves. But cool game. If for fellow Canadians, if you need to get a copy of Trails, I don't know. I hope you have a homie in the States that can bring one up or something. Shopping as a whole, I will say, I brought a whole grip of money to buy a whole bunch of stuff that isn't really available in Canada. And look, I'm really happy with the Sleepy Boy over here and the shirts and the board game. Shopping as a whole though was really disappointing in the States. Like, there wasn't really anything, not too much in the way of like different stuff or new stuff or unique stuff. It was kind of a lot of the same stuff we can get in Canada, and even then the stores just weren't that much different. I ended up not spending. Maybe it's for the best that I didn't end up buying a whole bunch of dumb stuff, but yeah, that part was kind of a bummer. Yeah, we're not really. Yeah, like back in the day, in the 90s and the 2000s, when you'd make the trip to Buffalo to go and buy a whole bunch of stuff that you couldn't get in Canada. I guess that's not really as much of a thing anymore. Inflation going on too. Yeah, that too. Oh, but that said, dude. So that this is like the second night here. We still have so much. We're not getting around to board game video games today. Yo, I always say McDonald's in the States. So I always harp on about the $5 for 20 nuggets thing. The price has gone up on the 20 nuggets, which is kind of disappointing. But y'all are crazy. You've got this McNuggets meal that has 40 nuggets and 2 large fries for only $16. Are you kidding me? Nah, this is not okay. Man, so there are probably people like we have the 20-piece nuggets, which is like 10 bucks. It's a lot just for 20 nuggets, and you're out here giving me 40 nuggets and 2 large fries. Yeah, Des and I get this time. It's crazy. Like this night, the timing was really weird. Where we had dinner, we had supper, like dinner at like 5 o'clock, and it was 10 or 11. We were hungry again and went to McDonald's, and we split this amongst the 3 of us. Like, sure, why wouldn't you spend $16 and get 40 nuggets and 2 large fries? And at the end of it, we still had 22 nuggets left. Oh, absolutely nuts. Later on in the trip, Steph and I warmed up some of the nuggets and ate them, and we still had some. There were nuggets that got left in the fridge because it was just too much McDonald's for us. And JF Raptor says McDonald's isn't cheap anymore, at least here. Yep, McDonald's is kind of in line with the others, but there's no way we were getting anything close to 16. Even when you convert to Canadian dollars, there's no way you're getting this much food at Mickey D's in Canada for that much. And they forgot the sauce. So this is the thing. They asked about the sauce, and you get 6 sauces. And when we got home, there were no sauces in the bag. We had to eat 40 nuggets with no sauce. Man, so tragic. Space Cactus, no, we don't have a 40 nugget thing here. It caps out at 20, and they specifically say in the 20-piece nuggets, like, this is meant for 2 people. Yeah, that peasant life. Oh, we had to buy our own sauce at Publix later. Oh, and this McDonald's, we went on our last full day on the trip. We went back to this McDonald's, and they screwed up our order again. I think they charged me for an extra sandwich, and they didn't put my dad's coffee cap on, like the lid of his drink on properly, and he went to drink and it spilt all over his lap. Not the best McDonald's experience. But yo, the McNuggets price, absolutely wild. Also, okay, America, can we chat? This is gonna be a judgment-free zone, I promise. I just want to know, are y'all really out here just snacking on bacon? Like, you just have a bag of bacon and then you eat it? Like, that is that a thing that you do, and it's not just is it just the Dunkin' Donuts thing? Even then, I'm gonna not judging. I just want to understand. Help me understand. And Space, no, my dad was okay. It was more annoying than anything. But snack bacon, I don't. Space says I found Dunkin' Donuts to be really gross. Oh, and Meg says she has pocket bacon on her at all times. Man, apparently I'm missing out on snack bacon as a thing. Okay. All right. Well then, it's settled. And yeah, eating bacon for breakfast is fine, like but generally within the confines of a sandwich, a wrap, with eggs. But just snacking on on bacon like that? Y'all really about that life? I mean, fine, but do you ever eat meat jerky as a snack? Actually, I don't. I have, but I don't. Jerky is too tough, and I don't like the sensation of like possibly ripping my teeth out as I eat it. Space or Cowface says, I didn't know it was a thing. I mean, if I have bacon, I'll snack on bacon. It is just an alien concept to me, the idea of just getting a serving of bacon by itself, like you would fries. If we made bacon, you'd also just snack on. Yeah, if you made bacon, but I don't know. This just strikes me as odd. I did have a couple of cold drinks at the Dunkin'. One of them had like whipped cream and sprinkles on it. The other one was, I forgot. So yeah, but you've never ordered bacon like that. Okay. I didn't. Dunkin', for my Canadian friends, the drink menu is split between hot. Like every single drink has a hot option and a cold option, and I did not specify that I wanted my macchiato hot, and I got a cold one. So that's my L. But it was fine. But the sweet one in particular, I was hoping for kind of a Tim Hortons ice cap experience, and it wasn't that. Y'all haven't lived until you've gone to a Tim Hortons and had an iced cappuccino. That's what I'm talking about right there. Right? It's not here is coffee and then we put a bunch of ice in the coffee. No, it's imagine like coffee made in a Slurpee machine with the ice where it's just like melded into a thing. Oh, it's great. It's amazing. Ice cap and Bieber balls. You're right. They just dropped the new Justin Bieber stuff at Tim's, and I mean, I wish him a speedy recovery because half of his face being paralyzed is not. I don't wish that on anybody. So, shout outs to him. And did we rent a car? Part of the benefits of this trip is that the house that we were staying at gave us access to a van, and we ended up driving a fair amount. And speaking of which, we drove all the way to the Everglades. So this is okay. So the thing about the Everglades, at first we were like, yeah, let's go to the Everglades. We're kind of close to the Everglades. No, we weren't close to the Everglades. We were the closest entrance from where we were. So other things I learned, like when I thought of the Everglades, I thought it was like, here is a park, and there's a gate, and you go in the park. The Florida Everglades is actually like pretty much the entire south tip of Florida. And it's more than just the part. I think I have the picture of the map, and I'll have to skip like a whole bunch of steps to show that here. We're going to jump ahead here a little bit. Like, this is the tip of Florida. Like, all of this is the Everglades. All of that. And there's 3 entrances that you can go to. And we were at this northern one here, the Shark Point or Shark Valley one. Did we go to Miami? Yes, we did. And I have a couple. We weren't there for long, but I have a couple pictures of that. So the drive to the Everglades was just over 2 hours, and my mom absolutely hated the drive. We found the most realist of Florida mans on the I-95, where we saw some of the worst driving I've ever seen in my entire life. And look, Toronto's not the best when it comes to driving. We definitely have some degenerates on the road here. I ain't seen it like that in Florida, though. Oh, man, Florida, my mom was driving past the speed limit, and like dozens of cars are just passing by. We saw one person speed by, and the back of their car, like the trunk is entirely caved in, and the trunk door is just flapping in the wind, and this guy's just flying with his car basically demolished. And I'm just like, that guy's fleeing the scene of a crime. Why would you be driving full speed with your car destroyed unless you are trying to get away from the cops? So that was nuts. And then there was another point where there was a guy in a truck, and he's driving faster than so I think speed limit's like 70 in this particular stretch of the I-95. He's zooming past my mom, and I saw just enough to see that. Imagine I am the driver, passenger side is here, and there's someone here. He is driving, one hand on the wheel, the other hand with his phone up like this, and he's looking here at the phone. The windshield is here. He has someone on a video call, and he's pointing it this way so that the passenger could also be in the shot, and he's doing this while driving like 85. Y'all serious? You couldn't you couldn't just put it. Did you really have to be on camera at that moment while driving on the highway? Space says he was probably going to get to go check for the smash guy. No, it was my mom was so upset and just so scared driving on the highway, and I felt really bad because we had a couple of other driving trips, and she just didn't want anything to do with driving for the entire trip, but she had designated herself as the driver on this one. So shout outs to mom, taking one for the team. Driving, I'm gonna guess she probably didn't want me driving because it's her boss's car, and yeah, if I'd smashed it, there would have been a different level of accountability. But yep, it's fine. Kudos to mom for driving us all the way to Shark Valley Visitor Center. It's actually kind of weird, like the contrast of stuff leading up to the Everglades, because you're driving in the middle of nowhere. I think like even once you get to the stretch of road that leads to the official Everglades National Park, it's still like 25 miles away. And along the way, you're seeing signs for the air, like the airboat tours. And something I didn't know is that the official national park doesn't do the airboat tours. You have to go to a third party service along the way that does that. And Mulligoon, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. So yeah, like when I think of the Everglades, I think of the airboat with the big rubber tube filled with air and then the big fan on the back, and the official park doesn't do that. They do a different type of tour instead, which was absolutely okay. There's the third party ones, even though there are a couple that are officially, promoted by the park itself, were definitely more degenerate. Of just like, yeah, we're gonna take this boat and you're gonna go across this lake, and then some of them actually sold alligator like to eat at the restaurants, which seemed like maybe a little sus and a little counter to the whole Everglades and conservation and stuff. We ended up not doing that. We went to the official park instead, and you hop on one of these sort of tram things and you drive across this stretch of road that's in place, and you get a tour. I think this was actually really smart of us to have done this. Mulligoon says, and can I just make the observation that before computers, people would pay picture slides on a projector and force people to watch Family Vacation? No, this is exactly it. This is exactly that stream. This is what I have wanted to do this whole time. And we did this last time when I came back from England and from France. I don't go travel much, but I thought I enjoy sharing these experiences with everybody. All right, so this was actually perfect because there's a couple of ways you can experience Shark Valley when you are there. You can spend the money, and admittedly, it's not cheap to go and take the ride, the guided tour. You can walk it, but it's like 7 miles one way if you want to go end to end. So if you're down to walk 14 miles, by all means, go for it. This is also a rainy day, so I wouldn't have wanted to do that. Or you can ride a bike, and hey, that's kind of cool. You can ride a bike, possibly get bitten by an alligator. Now I'll just take the trolley ride. And also there aren't really much in the way of signs along the way. There are a couple here and there, but I felt like we learned a lot more about the Everglades experience by taking the tour and having the tour guide tell us stuff. Molly Goon says, I legit would be interested in an old-fashioned slideshow presentation. Oh, cool. Maybe someday we'll present something on the wall here. Also, Molly Goon, congratulations on the twins. They are here. Asher and Zoe, welcome to the world. How has the dad life been for? Well, you've been a dad for a while, but dad of twins now too. How's that going? So this actually worked out. I didn't know that they had the tour ride here, but they were just about to leave when we got there, and this ended up being great for us. Some things we learned about the Everglades: it's very low to the water. It's like 7 feet above sea level, and then it actually goes down to like 5. And the water here doesn't get any deeper than like 3 feet. And there's not much that can grow in this area. Well, there's a bunch of weird stuff that grows in this area, and it attracts certain types of birds. And then there's alligators. There's an alligator right here that's kind of hard to see. We didn't see that many alligators, and most of the ones that we saw were very small. Apparently, it's the wet season, and they don't really come out during this time of the year. But we did get to see a few, and I'm glad that we got to see a couple of wild alligators along the way. And the trip ultimately, like the halfway point / the furthest point in, is this observation tower, and we learned kind of the origins of Everglades National Park and what happened. Back in the 40s, the Humble Oil Company actually bought Space Cactus, enjoy the lurk. The Humble Oil Company bought the Everglades for the purposes of mining oil. And when they built a whole bunch of infrastructure to get to better luck next time, to get to the spot to find the oil. And when they got to that point, the oil that they found was not the type that was easy to refine. So they ended up giving the property back to the US government, which they then turned into a national park. And the site that they drilled on is now this observation tower. So kind of a cool way to repurpose this place for preserving the wildlife. That said, apparently some of the stuff that the oil company had done had messed up the land. So the sort of the trees along the side, like on this side of the road. So on the way there, you're going along this side. On the way back, this straight shot line, they had dug up a ditch along here that is deeper than the Everglades, which then caused certain types of fish upstream that normally aren't there to swim upstream, and certain types of trees to grow that aren't supposed to be there, and then the fish then attracted birds. So this whole stretch all the way down is kind of tainted land because we as humans messed it up. The shots looked amazing. Are you using a wide angle lens? This one I used the panoramic shot, and then this is just my phone. I don't have a special camera or anything like that. Also, yeah, shout outs to my mom and dad. They are making a cameo. Well, not really making a cameo here. This is actually them. Walking down. But yeah, some of the other things that we learned about the Everglades is that this used to be a stretch of road that they would let the public drive down, which seems like an absolutely horrible idea, to let people drive their own cars here and possibly hop out unsupervised to mess with the animals or throw garbage out there. Now it's a guided tour that only drives a couple of times a day, and it's a much more controlled environment, which is great. Then we went shopping at the big outlet mall. This is the Sawgrass Mills. It's on the way back to the house. And Molly Goon asks, before we continue about the shirt, did we see any fan boats? We did. We saw them parked at other places that were offering the fan boat rides, but we didn't end up taking one. And I'm okay without. We only really had time for one. We ended up doing the the official tour of the park. So I was glad with the experience that we did have. Maybe at some point we would do the airboat ride, maybe another time. So we went on the way back. There's a mall called Sawgrass Mills. It's sort of the big shopping outlet there. And they had this place that made a whole bunch of jerseys and custom shirts. And what caught my eye immediately was this shirt, like Toronto. And I guess this maybe this is Toronto. I mean, definitely some nods to the Toronto Raptors with the purple and the jersey and the Vince Carter, and I mean like the actual Raptor here. I don't really know if this is what Toronto men's be like, but cool, I guess. The fact that Florida has acknowledged us in some shape or form is cool in and of itself. So I'll take it. Take it. All right, some snacks. We saw this very fancy can of chocolate milk at Publix, and we were like, you know what? We gotta try this. Lactose-free, ultra-filtered chocolate milk in a can. How was it like? This was really good. It was a very... I tried Pepsi Nitro, and this kind of had a similar sensation, but not quite the same as Pepsi Nitro in the sense that it just goes down really smooth. It was a very pleasant sensation drinking this bougie chocolate milk. So that's a thumbs up from me on that one. Another day at the beach. This is kind of the walkway that leads to a bunch of different restaurants and the pier. Today we had, this is the restaurant we went to multiple times. My mom ended up becoming very buddy with the waiter there who served us both times. We ended up sitting at the exact same table, which was kind of crazy. And this particular meal, this is a chimichurri steak with mushrooms, and I can't remember what this was. Was it potatoes of some sort? I remember this being kind of weird. The steak was amazing though. It was kind of, I asked for it to be done medium rare, and it was definitely more on the well done side, but it was still juicy and absolutely delicious. I personally am a sucker for steak with chimichurri on it, so had to do it. Fantastic. Oh, here we go. This is some of the video stuff. So this is now different day, and we are in Miami at this point, and we went to we are at an interactive art exhibit called Super Blue, and they had a whole bunch of different interactive art things set up. This is one. It's just this entire wall that kind of had the life cycle of flowers. There's just nothing, and then it's grass, and then it's flowers, and they bloom and they change colors, and then the petals fall. That one was cool. After that was like one of my favorite things. There's Steph. It was this whole wall that had projections of water coming down and then pooling on the ground, and then there'd be flowers that are there. Absolutely stunning. They're playing this really ambient music. So cool. And yeah, you can see the flowers blooming along the wall, going up, all the way up. And they had mirrors to make it feel like it was an even bigger space than it was. Here I am in my flower glory. And yeah, some other cool shots of me against the flower. Definitely looking like I should have posted these on Instagram. There's Steph and I. Definitely should have posted this one on Instagram. And then, yeah, one of the cool things about this, I still don't know how they did it, but it was set up in such a way that if you touched the wall, the rain would move around you. And if you stayed there long enough, and I posted the video on Twitter, like you will actually, like flowers will sprout from where you're standing. And in this particular instance, it sprouted from my back. I have no idea what technology they used to make this effect happen, but it was insanely cool. JF Raptor says, I remember going to an exhibit like this in Ottawa. Oh, they're very cool. And then another highlight from Super Blue was this entire room. It was a maze full of mirrors. So everywhere you're walking, it's just just mirrors. And it's kind of cool. I, as a sort of a Bruce Lee stan, it was kind of cool going through this because it reminds me of the final scene of Enter the Dragon where he's fighting the claw guy in the room of mirrors. And it's kind of trippy walking around and seeing just reflections everywhere. Oh, my Street Fighter 6 thoughts. Maybe at the end. I did try and keep up with the Street Fighter 6 news while I was in Florida. So yeah, that's kind of the experience, just walking around there. Look at into the Jetverse here with all of the different versions of me. Oh yeah, you also had to wear. Oh, one of the, I don't have pictures of the exhibit before this where you have to put these shoe covers on, and part of it so you don't mess up the floor here. But the other one was a very trippy space where you go up these stairs and then you're just in this white room, and the entire thing it's a giant room that's white, but then they project colors on it, and then you're just in this. It's a very weird sensation of being in a giant empty room that is all one color, and like it's just red, and then they change the colors very gradually to different things, and it's just such a weird sensation of being entirely surrounded by nothing except this one color. Really messed up, but it was kind of cool. This is called Super Blue. It is a art exhibit in Miami, interactive art exhibit where you could see some stuff. Here's another spot of just all mirrors. What happened here? Yeah, okay, yes, I remember now. So this is in Miami, and then we drove into South Beach. This is kind of where all the cool hip kids are. Definitely a place to see and be seen. We had lunch along like that ocean. Is it called Ocean Drive? And people were definitely like living that Miami lifestyle, whether they were visiting or not. Lots of people. Ocean Drive, yeah. Lots of people, men and women, very scantily clad. I mean, showing the assets by all means. If you're gonna do it, you best do that in South Beach. I was dressed pretty modestly though. And we actually didn't get to spend a lot of time. It took us a bit of time to go from the exhibit to South Beach. Then we had lunch, and then this came in. So within minutes of us getting to the beach, and we weren't planning on, thank you. Within minutes of us getting to the beach, the storm clouds came in, and my mom was like, we gotta go, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, I wanted to walk up Ocean Drive and get up to the restaurant that used to be Gianni Versace's house, and then walk back. That didn't happen because the storm clouds rolled in and it rained within minutes of me taking that picture. But yeah, here we are, South Beach. The light. What is the term? The lifeguard post. So yeah, we spent a couple of minutes just walking. It's the beach, and then we got back to the van and drove through the storm. Traffic was abysmal, and the fact that it was just pouring rain did not stop Florida drivers from just blazing through as fast as they could. The bridge between Miami and Miami Beach can have crazy traffic. Yep, we definitely found that out the hard way. What else happened? Snack review time. So one of the things that the States has that Canada does not have is Coke with coffee. And we saw it at the store again, and we were like, yeah, we need to try this. We grabbed the mocha version. There are, I think, 4 different flavors. And this was absolutely disgusting. It tastes like Coke, like bad Coke, that also has fake, it smells terrible, and it tastes like I don't know, it's like a fake coffee. It's kind of in the vein of coffee, but it doesn't taste like authentic coffee, like some weird, even more processed than like your Folgers powder stuff. It's absolutely gross, and I would not recommend it. Y'all can keep y'all in the States can keep this. You thought vanilla Coke? Vanilla Coke is fine. It's not my favorite, but vanilla Coke is leagues better than Coke with coffee. Yeah, you're not interested. Don't. I'm saying it now. Don't do it. Don't do it. What's that TikTok? Yeah, I did it. And then on our final full day in Florida, we was super fortunate again. Shout outs to my mom's boss. He let us take a ride on his boat, and shout outs to, I think his name is Gilles, and he works in my mom's company and does maintenance on a bunch of the properties that he owns in this area, and he was the one that drove the boat and gave us the tour around Florida. And it was pretty sick getting to sit on this boat just speeding into the Atlantic Ocean. Absolutely gorgeous day. So here we are, a couple of miles away from the coast, and he brought a fishing rod and was going to try and fish. The general rule of thumb he mentioned was that it goes down, the depth of the ocean goes down about 100 feet for every mile you're away. So we're about 4 miles away. That's about 400 feet. And he, moments before this picture was taken, he was bragging about the particular lure. The jig that he had was about this big. It was metal. It was made for fishing trips like this. He showed us the fishing line, which is a special braided one that can hold up to 30 pounds. And then he's reeling. He feels something, keeps reeling. The jig is gone. Fish bit the line clean off, and he had only brought the one jig. And yeah, there was, the jig was up. He couldn't fish for the rest of our trip. And I wasn't gonna, it seemed kind of cool, the idea of fishing on a boat like this all the way this far into the ocean. But it's just a platform on the back, and the boat swaying in the ocean, and he had amazing balance and could also swim. I can't swim. He did offer a life jacket, but I can't swim. If I'm going I fall off that platform, I'm dead. So I kind of just sat on the seat the whole time and just, yeah, living it up. This was more my experience on the boat. It was pretty sick. Although I will say, if you get to sit on one of these types of boats, this was my first time ever on a boat of this style. If you want the best view, sit in the front. If you want the least bumpy ride, sit in the back. There were a couple of moments where we hit waves and I'm actually bouncing out of my seat. I thought I was dead. I thought we were so dead. Thankfully did not die, did not fall in the ocean. I thankfully told my dad, who had just sat his phone on the seat, you might want to put that in your pocket or that's flying into the ocean. Had he kept it on the seat, it would have flown into the ocean moments later. But nope, no one lost their phone along the way, which was great. And we also we ended up going from Pompano Beach out to the ocean and then back around to Boca Raton, and then taking the inner stream back. And y'all got money out here. It was just multi-million-dollar mansion after multi-million-dollar mansion. I took so many pictures of just rich people houses. There's a view from the ocean. Absolutely, this isn't even the craziest thing. And I took so many more pictures of these super baller cribs, with this one being the most baller of all. I know it's obstructed by trees and stuff, but Gilles mentioned this gate, that's 24 karat gold. This house, it's currently for sale, $160 million asking price. How many Twitch subs is it going to take for me to buy this house? Not happening. But even This is a whole other tier of opulence. But like even here, houses like this, y'all got so much money. It's crazy. Meg says sounds like a bargain. I thought we were living the dream, and like seeing what else was in the neighborhood. Like, nah, not even. We lived in the poor people house. We lived in the pool house for a week in a super rich neighborhood. It was kind of crazy. JF Raptor says it's gonna cost an arm and a leg just to pay the pool boy. Yep, you're right. Yep, another short rib. This was my favorite one of the bunch. This one was back at Oceanic. The last time we saw the waiter guy, super nice dude. He was bald. I don't, if you ever go to that restaurant, look for that guy. He's great. Nearing the end, oh man, on our last night, I did laundry, and I just found it fascinating that there's an entire like brand of starch spray just called Niagara. And I think we were just talking about this on the stream before I left, of like the international fascination with Niagara Falls and how people here in Ontario don't really care about it. We take it for granted because we're here all the time. All our relatives out of town, every time they come in or from out of the country, you got to bring them to Niagara Falls. And then we've seen it dozens of times and don't care. But here we go. We've made an entire line of spray starch based on Niagara. And here we are. So that was kind of cool, I guess. This was on our last night. And then the flight back, the trip back, we experienced the worst Starbucks ever. I mean, the line, it took us over an hour to get our stuff. It was a massively long line, and I kind of empathize with the staff there, and that, hey, this is the only place that serves coffee in this airport, and you're just gonna have a ton of traffic. But then the person who was in charge of food had to do a food run, and all of the food was way behind schedule. So we ended up getting we had to wait like an extra 15 minutes or so just to get our sandwiches. And then they also didn't have the thing Steph wanted, and they made a substitute to it, and Steph didn't like it, and we ended up having to rush on the plane on that last little bit there. So that wasn't great. Also, I was hoping to sleep more on the plane back than I did. Ended up not doing that. Thankfully, I had downloaded a bit more music and had some fresh podcasts to listen to. And then we ended up back in Canada, and it wasn't too long to get our stuff and get out of there and go back home. And that was our trip. I probably should have done a better semblance of like time, like dates, because this all just kind of reads like one big thing. But there you go. At this point, when it's this short rib, it's Friday. And then, yeah, this is Friday night. And then we're going to end this presentation with some snacks from the States that we don't have in Canada, and I will share my review. This is Kettle brand potato chips, pepperoncini. It's very peppery. They were okay. Very peppery taste, and Kettle chips are good. Generally speaking, they're good. Hard to mess them up. These were all right, but I wouldn't go out of my way to try these again. I will say though, Canadian chips, it's where it's at. Y'all in the States don't do it the same like we do out here. Just saying. That said, these Zapp's potato chips, New Orleans kettle style voodoo flavor. They don't actually tell you what voodoo means or what the flavors are in it. These were delicious. These are excellent chips. Highly recommend. They kind of remind me of all dressed chips here in Canada, which is sort of like an assortment of different chip spices, but these were very good, and quite possibly I think these were my favorite snack. Oh, there's another story. Okay, there's another story I have to share. Zapp's chips are great. Yeah, these were good. Voodoo chips should not be slept on. 10 out of 10. And Cowface also giving Zapp's potato chips the cosign. I absolutely much respect to Zapp's. Cowface says the voodoo are barbecue plus salt and vinegar together. That's a good combo. That's a good combo. Shout outs to Zaps. They also had Lay's Layers, and they had a bunch of different flavors. We chose the sour cream and onion one. So for my Canadian friends, picture this, right? You've got the vessel that very much resembles that of a pork rind in terms of like shape and texture and crunch, and then you put sour cream and onion flavor on top of it, and that's what this is. I didn't like it very much, admittedly. It kind of tasted almost cardboardy, like they didn't have enough flavor, but then also the experience of biting into it just wasn't that pleasant, and I thought these were bad. And Countface says they have spicy Cajun chips too. Love those. Yeah, there was another flavor of Zapp's chips, and we chose one of the two. We didn't want to gamble on both. But now, knowing what I know now, I would go with the other flavor of Zapp's chips and try them instead. These Lay's Layers were trash. Thumbs down. We also tried some Lay's Sweet Southern Heat Barbecue. This is not a flavor we have in Canada. We have a bunch of different barbecue flavors, but we don't have this specific one. It was definitely like it's kind of like a standard barbecue chip, little sweeter. These were fine. Yeah, thumbs up from me. Not my favorite chip. They don't slap as hard as the Voodoo though. And then this is the last picture in this whole entire trip. Pillsbury Doughboy soft baked cookies, confetti flavor. I love soft cookies, and these were very soft as advertised. The flavor was maybe a little too sweet for me. It was hard to eat a bunch of these in succession. I could only eat like 2 at a time because they were a little too sweet for me. They're okay. I don't think I would do these again though. And I think that's it for the photo portion of Florida. I do have one other story. The Pokemon card situation I found was not great. There were a couple of stores we went to. Like, we were at a Walgreens at one point, and they were pretty much wiped out of Pokemon cards. We went to Target, and they only had like one Darkness Ablaze ETB, and everything else was just gone. But we did end up at a GameStop, and they had behind the counter, they had a whole bunch of packs. And so I picked up 2 packs of Astral Radiance. And the guy who was working the cash register seemed like a teenager, asked me if I had an Edge card, and I said no, to which point he tried to get me to sign up for an Edge card, and it got to this whole conversation about like, he's like, why don't you want an Edge card? I'm like, I'm not from this country. Where are you from? And like, I'm from Canada. And he asked me like, where do you like it more, in Canada or in Florida? And I tried to be diplomatic about it. I did mention that I was having a good time in Florida, which is true. There are certain things I like about Florida and certain things I like about Canada. Though, given the choice between the two, I'm staying up here. Hard to get much out here, at least without markup from local game stores. Yeah, that's rough. It is. Yeah, maybe I take for granted how easy. I'm not gonna say eat. For the most part, it's actually a lot easier getting pack. Like, if you just want to go get the new set or what have you, most stores here just have them readily available. Like, there is a Toys R Us I frequent where sometimes here and there they don't have packs, but most stores generally have them in stock. So yeah, the guy like asked me about Canada versus the US, and he was telling me like, sign up for an Edge card because people get coupons, and then they use the coupons to get the packs for free and stuff like that. I was like, nah, I'm literally not from this country. I'm never going to a GameStop here again. There's no point in me signing up. I think he was still trying to press to get me to sign up for the Edge card because it got to the point where he then asked me like, "Hey, are you excited?" Oh, this is the other thing. He picked 2 packs and he was like, "I'm giving you the Samurott ones because Samurott's the best." Like, okay, fine, I trust you. He then asked me if I was excited for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. He asked me if I'd pre-ordered it yet. I think he was gonna ask me if I was gonna pre-order it when I literally told him that I'm gone at the end of this week. But and there was another thing. There was another thing about that interaction that was kind of weird. Oh, I can't remember it now. It slips my mind. But yeah, shout outs to the dude at GameStop. I guess doing his thing, trying to get me to sign up for an Edge card. Oh, that was it. I asked him if I could use my Canadian Edge card because I have one of those, and he was like, "Nah." And then I was like, "All right, fine, forget it." In terms of pulls, we got this first pack had like nothing to write home about, unfortunately. I still have to put these in an ETB. We didn't really get anything good from that one. And then the other one, let me open this up here. We pulled a holo rare Magnezone, which is an okay card. You could pair this with Dialga V-Star and pull a whole bunch of Metal Energy. Not the greatest, which is actually fine. Like, of course, you want the good Pokemon cards, but at the same time, had I pulled something good, I was kind of concerned, like, how do I bring it back to the country? I'm not going to bring top loaders and sleeves with me in my in my luggage in case of a good pull, but we didn't get anything too big, so that wasn't nothing to worry about there. And yeah, that was ultimately my time in Florida. It was a pretty good time. It probably rained a little more than I would have liked, but we had some great times at the beach. Had some amazing food. I will say the food in Florida is fantastic. The servings at restaurants compared to Canada, like you get way more food in the States than in Canada, and the food was great. That McDonald's we went to, they messed up our order multiple times. Not the best McDonald's, but they tried their best. And yeah, it was kind of cool to hang out with my parents. Like, I moved out of the house I think we moved out, and yeah, Steph and I have lived together for 10 years now, and that was the most time I've spent with my parents since. So that was an experience. Yeah, shout outs to my mom and dad. Thank you for taking them off my hands. Yeah, that was we'll have to talk later. But yeah, love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. What else? Anyone else have any questions about Florida that maybe I can answer? I could also talk a little bit about Street Fighter 6. I don't know if it's worth me playing any video games at this point. Any masks? Excellent question. Yes, but very few. It's at this point very few people in the city are. I answered it at the beginning, but you missed that. It's fine. It's probably the most curious question that came up, considering Florida's reputation as being as pro-virus in the world as anyone could possibly be. We didn't see many masks, but it's at this point Toronto and Florida are basically the same in terms of mask usage. Hardly anyone's wearing them. When we did see masks, most of the time it was people working in customer service who were wearing the mask, but there were people out and about that were also wearing masks as well. A couple that were definitely, some were a little more like obviously tourists, but there were locals that were also still wearing masks. My parents didn't think about it at first, about like, okay, any sort of stigmas or anything wearing masks. But after the first day, they stopped wearing the mask. Like I pretty much stopped wearing the mask as soon as we got there, and both of my parents said that they stopped wearing the mask because no one else was wearing masks and people were looking at them funny, and they just didn't want to draw that type of attention, so they didn't wear any masks. And miraculously, none, knock on wood, as of right now, none of us got COVID. Steph and I did test on Sunday when we came back, and we'll probably take one more on like tomorrow just to see, like, if we had caught it like at the very tail end of the trip, it would probably kick in like any moment now. But as it seems right now, no, we're all, I can't speak for my mom and dad, but we're okay. We're okay. Shout outs to Alvin's Island, the gift shop we ended up in a bunch, where we got a whole bunch of swag, including this Pompano Beach sweater, and I got a tie-dye shirt, which I had somewhere upstairs, and Steph got a giant like water thingamabobber to drink out of. I don't even remember the names of those terms. That was cool. I made the mistake. We had ice cream at one point, and I got it in a cone instead of a cup, which was a terrible move because ice cream already melts faster than you'd like, and it's a big scoop of ice cream, and it was super hot, and like within minutes it was just all over me. I should have got it in the cup so that I just had a more controlled thing rather than having it just drip all over my hands. Good ice cream though. Good ice cream. I cannot remember for the life of me what the name of the place was. It's like right along that main strip on Pompano Beach if you ever happen to be around there.